On this episode, I talk with Rick from SharpSpring, and we talk about what do you need to do in order to really build a great strategic partnership with a technology company. We also talk about the biggest mistake if you're actually building a SaaS product in your agency. And we also talk about marketing automation, obviously, because it's SharpSpring. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Hey, Rick, welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here. Appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Yeah, same here. So for the ones that have not heard of you, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, so I'm Rick Carlson. I'm the founder of SharpSpring. Thought I'd wear the t-shirt here so you can't mistake me for somebody else. Incidentally, I forgot to mention it. I got two puppies below me here. So that was my strategy to keep them from barking. I do not know that it will be successful. You know, FedEx is popping up here. We're all working from home. So apologies in advance if that happens, but at least I'll be able to settle them down here. So it's actually the four of us, but there's two of them off camera.
Awesome.
So yeah, so I'm the founder of SharpSpring. We're a marketing automation company. You know, what makes us sort of different is that we built our business around agencies. You know this, that's how you and I know each other. And have been sort of working together recently. Appreciate you coming on our acceleration series, and been having a lot of fun working on our marketing automation platform for the last going on 8.5 years now.
Wow. What have you really seen change over the years with marketing automation?
Yeah, so I was exposed to marketing automation I spent a bunch of time in internet security, and I was always a sales and marketing and product guy. And to be honest, I decided to get into marketing automation when I saw an early version of Marketo. And, you know, one of the things I can say is I've seen a couple of companies, HubSpot and SharpSpring, and really HubSpot and SharpSpring, but I think others are coming along here and turning these into more of a sales and marketing platform. What do I mean by that? I mean integration of CRM into marketing automation. There's just so many benefits to having those things together in one platform where you can really get a complete picture in one platform of everything it takes to drive a lead from the point they're just a website visitor that's anonymous all the way through a closed sale. And so I see that there's a move towards integration, you know, from start to end, customer life cycle. And customer isn't even the right word, because we're talking about from the moment they're a web visitor on through to when they become a customer and ultimately an advocate.
Yeah, you know, I remember, many years ago when we had the first agency, we started putting together like this social CRM. And this was even before really marketing automation. And now of what we can actually do and what agencies can actually do for their clients, it's kind of like that black box where your client, an agency, if you do it the right way, from helping them, because so many agencies think about, well, how can I do a service for a client? And I'm like, how can you do a solution that actually provides them something that they want? Like, how do we make them aware? And then how do we capture that information? And then how do we do all that? And it's really cool what agencies now can do through marketing automation platforms. So what's some really innovative things that you've seen, because you've been doing this for a long time, that agencies are actually doing?
Yeah, you know, listen, the tools are so powerful now and so comprehensive. If you think about a modern marketing automation platform, and really, here's something just for your podcasters. We are moving our positioning as a company. We don't think calling ourselves a marketing automation platform makes any sense anymore. We're a revenue growth company. And so you'll see that on our website and in our branding and so forth as we move forward. I'm sort of out ahead of my skis here telling your listeners about this, but that's indicative of what the platforms do today. As we talked about, you've got traditional marketing automation, email marketing, and intelligent forms and landing pages. You have social media management and posting and listening and all that built in. You've got a built-in CRM and really innovative stuff that hasn't normally or traditionally been included in a CRM. For example, sales automation, where you can apply the same level of discipline and rigor to the sales process as you can with automated drip campaigns and email in the marketing process. You can, for example, schedule follow-ups for your salespeople. So they come in the morning and have a follow-up cadence in exactly the same way as you might have a drip campaign for an email. So these are really becoming incredibly, top to bottom, incredibly powerful tools to help you drive revenue. And we see our agency partners, there's sort of a lag between what's being developed in the platform and agencies becoming aware, even agencies who are sort of the experts, right? Becoming aware of everything the platform can do and utilizing the features more. And so, we're seeing agencies adopt all the features of the platform now, where maybe just a couple of years ago, they were using us like a glorified email tool, right? Which was almost disheartening to us given how much power is in there. We've implemented chat bots now into our platform. And by the way, this is just true. I think HubSpot's got a chat bot. I don't want this to be a commercial. And so I'm really talking a lot about what's in a lot of the more powerful marketing automation platforms. And what's neat about the platforms is that all of those tools work together. So our chat bot, for example, is aware that it's talking to Jason. And so it's capable of saying, hey, Jason, I see that you're working with, Bob, your sales rep over here. You want to talk to Bob? Or I see that you just got done with a demo. Are you interested in this particular, piece of content? Where the next person it's interacting with might be a first-time visitor to the site and has a totally different experience. That's true of chatbots and forms and landing pages and everything in the context of a marketing automation platform. So really, I realize I'm going on here, but as we're prone to say, you're only limited by your imagination at this point and applying the tools to the business circumstances and problems that you're trying to solve. The platforms are so powerful.
What in switching focus a little bit, so
Sure.
one of the things that allowed us to grow the first agency was through strategic partnerships. And so we leveraged certain software tools like Sitefinity and SharePoint and Microsoft in order to really grow the agency. And obviously you've been partnering with agencies for a long time. One is because I always tell people, I'm like, look, find an amazing platform that you can really understand, that gives you all this great power. But how have you seen like your best strategic partners? We don't want you to name names because then some people left off will feel bad.
Yeah, sure.
What are they doing in order to generate more business, like partnering with a technology like yours? Like, are they coming in being like, are they going, hey, hey, Rick and team, like we've done this, and then you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And we highlight it. Like, what are they doing in order to like be great strategic partners for the both of you?
Okay, sure. So we're talking about successful agencies. Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, sure. I'd say they come in two flavors. The most successful agencies, the top 10%, in my mind, come in two flavors. And they're in no particular order here. I got to name one of them first. So I'll just give you sort of two different strategies that I've seen them employ. The first is cookie cutter, which isn't a sexy way to describe something, but works really well for agencies. And so we have agencies that have hundreds of clients on the platform. And those agencies are typically, they found a niche, like every sage advice, right? And they've figured out a way to exploit that and make it highly profitable for their agency while delivering results. Very often they are working with a franchise, by the way. For example, we have an agency, I don't want to name their vertical, but we have an agency that has at least 100 franchisees. And what they did was they ran around, they built a system for one of the franchisees, and they made it work. And that franchisee said, hey, these guys increased my sales, 40% by doing this, and this, and became the sales advocate for our agency that did this. And that agency has built a business running around doing exactly the same thing for the other franchisees in their local markets, right? And so that has been an extremely powerful business model for them, because it's, and forgive the word again, cookie cutter, but repetitive, the same strategies that they spent a bunch of time figuring out how to make it work with one, and then they replicated it. So it's highly efficient and profitable for the agency. Everybody's happy. The franchisees are getting more results. The agency's a hero to all of those franchisees. The selling sort of happens. So it's pretty powerful. I've been impressed with our agency partners that have done that. The other is sort of on the other end of the spectrum, right? I've seen agencies, and I know you preach this a lot, becoming extremely strategic and really getting in. The power of marketing automation is about personalization, and whether that's personalization at the communication level with individual leads, right? Simulating one-on-one conversations, a bit like I was talking about already earlier in the conversation, or applying the tools at the business level correctly to the needs of that individual business. Personalization is the core of marketing automation. And on the other end of the spectrum to the cookie cutter approach, I've seen our most successful agencies really be strategic for their partners and apply all of the tools of marketing automation to drive revenue for their businesses. And what that enables those businesses, here's something I can tell you. The ones that are doing the cookie cutter approach, their cost per, or their revenue per franchisee in the example I gave, much lower, right? But they're playing volume. They got 75 of those customers out there, or 100, or what have you. On the other end, we see people with very, very healthy retainers, and are able to charge for the services because they're being more strategic. And I think the commonality in both of those models is that these agencies are heroes for their customers because they're delivering the results, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's why I've always, I always tell people there's 3 channels to really scale your agency in sales and build that pipeline that you want. Like, you have an inbound channel, an outbound channel, and a strategic partnership channel. Like, figure out those technologies that you can partner with in order to really leverage. And then, because a technology by itself is usually it's like a rock. Like, it does nothing unless you actually have input and you actually program it and all of the stuff to do that. And then, that client will actually look at you and be like, you're a genius. Like, you've saved me this tons of time and you're making me all this money by, implementing it. So it's always a good strategy. Now, in totally switching focus, there's a lot of agencies that are, and it was like me, right? Like, I remember in 2002 building an e-commerce store and coding that, or email marketing, newsletter, or a CMS system. And more and more agencies are starting to build technologies for themselves. And you guys are a great example, because you guys are, I don't know if a lot of people know this, like, you guys are a public company, which is really amazing. Yeah. Built a really cool technology. So walk us through a little bit about how did you grow it? How did it start? How did you get it to the level where you guys are at? Because I
Yeah.
know a lot of agencies, they have the capability to build amazing technologies and they're building it, but a lot of times they're making really big mistakes.
Yeah, you said a mouthful there. Can I want to touch on one thing because you hit a sort of a I don't want to call it a pet peeve of mine, but you made a point that I like to make a lot, and something that I think some agencies, especially small agencies, trying to figure out who they are. It's a mistake that they make. So our platform, we built our business around agencies. I'm going to adjust my light here a little bit. Something strange happened. We'll try to give my camera a better. I got full blast lights, but this background is anyway. We'll deal with it. So a lot of so our platform, we built our business around agencies. Like 90% of our revenues come through agencies. And one of the things we did was we built a rebrandable platform, so that agencies could reinforce their brand with their clients. And agencies love that, like, so when you send an alert to one of your clients, it's sort of coming from you, not from SharpSpring, if you've taken advantage of the rebranding. But that has caused some agencies to sign up with us and are confused by their value proposition. So what you said, which is 100% true and something I believe, is the technology is just the tool. I mean, we're the hammer, we're the screwdriver. If we don't have our tool placed in capable hands by the agency and applied to the business's needs appropriately, our tool is nothing. It doesn't, it's nothing. It needs the wisdom of an agency that understands its customers. That is the value. That is the value of the agency. We have agencies that want to go and, again, these are the new agencies, and I'm just trying to counsel folks that think their value is fooling their customer into thinking they built the marketing automation platform, right? Well, you don't go to your bookkeeper and think that the bookkeeper built QuickBooks. You know what I mean? That's not the value of the bookkeeper. The bookkeeper is using the tool appropriately to your business, hopefully saving you, or accountant, saving you on taxes, making sure you don't get in trouble with the IRS, making sure your bills are paid, whatever, bookkeepers and accountants do. That's their value, not that they built QuickBooks, right? We have spent tens of millions of dollars. Right now, we have about 40 developers. Been working on it now we launched 6.5 years ago. It took us 2 years just to build an MVP. So these are really, really powerful platforms. And, I think, but it is just as you described, nothing more than a tool. And I think that my advice is that agencies, especially young agencies trying to find their footing, understand that your value is the strategy. Your value is the implementation of what is an otherwise dumb tool, and applying that tool to the right way to help your customer and drive results.
What about for, there's a lot of the great products out there, like, Basecamp, or, a lot of project management tools, all kinds of tools out there. Originally, the agency created a tool for themselves.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Yeah. And it runs their business really well. And there's a lot of people listening. They're like, well, how can I really, take what works for us and really turn it into a separate company, a SaaS company, like you guys, so if you had to start over again, like, obviously you went the agency route, and I think that's really smart route. And I'm glad when people do that, because, then I can actually help people out with that.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. Right.
What would you do over again? So let's say you were an agency, you built this amazing tool that helped you out. What's kind of the steps that you would actually do over again in order to get to the point where you're at now?
Yeah, just to compare and contrast what I said with sort of what you just said, because you're exactly right. A lot of really neat technologies have come out of businesses, and specifically in our case, agencies, that have built a tool for themselves, you know, Basecamp and so forth. There are other examples. My only, and so that is 100% true. And I want to contrast, that's different than what I was saying. Those people who built those tools eventually said, oh, wait a minute. They crossed a bridge at some point. They flipped a switch and said, I'm a software developer. Well, you know, and so that's great. Like if you want to do that, if you've built something that you think is amazing in your agency and you think it can help other agencies and you want to try, you know, your hand at doing that, as somebody who's done it, I strongly encourage that kind of thing. I would say, do that with your eyes open and realize you're not an agency anymore. Now you got to be all in building a software platform that meets the needs of, you know, your other agencies potentially, right? And but don't think that that's where your value proposition comes in, serving your customers, your agency customers who are, you know, just looking to drive leads and sales into their businesses and so forth. In fact, it's sort of potentially a distraction if you're trying to work on building a platform for other agencies versus solving the problem of your customer. So,
yeah,
you know, don't walk the line is all I'm saying, sort of in many words.
And I see a lot of people, you know, doing it wrong. We did it wrong, right? Our clients kept distracting us. But what I see that has actually worked for people is if you have a clear separation, separate team, separate president, right?
That's right.
There's a lot of agencies listening, you know, that we work with, you know, there's kind of three goals for their, you know, exit, right? They're either building a lifestyle business where they can pick and choose what they want.
Right.
They want to build it up and sell it, or they're building an incubator agency where they can use their agency. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk, VaynerMedia is an incubator agency, right?
Sure.
Like
Sure.
they're designed not to make a profit or actually lose money, but they're actually able to create all these other stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of, but if, like Rick was saying, if you're trying to do both, it's going to be very hard because there's no clear separation. Take it from me. We were one of the first to build the e-commerce system, email marketing, and a CMS before everybody else. Like this was like in 2001. And then we're like, no, this is not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could, yeah, right, exactly. The separation is the key. The separation is absolutely the key here. So, so I think we're on the same page on that. It's just don't confuse your value proposition with your different clients is the bottom line, and that separation would do that for you.
Awesome. And you guys are doing something cool for agencies like this Accelerator series. Can you tell them a little bit more about this?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, we haven't said it too much, but again, our whole business is built around agencies. We work with 2,000 agencies today. That's up from 0 agencies roughly 6.5 years ago. So we've been growing fast. I think we have more agencies now than just about every platform that's out there. So when we say we built our business around agencies, it sort of affects everything we do. We've got agency focused features and single sign-on platform and the way we support customers. I talked about rebranding. We let agencies control the price they charge their clients, et cetera. Well, one of the things we wanted to do, and we were working on this as the pandemic hit, and then we really just doubled down on it. And you know, you've been on the series. We launched the Agency Acceleration series. And so, you know, we have, I think, the you know, what I would call the who's who of marketing luminaries that are out there. You know, Chris Brogan, and you may have heard of this guy, Jason Swank. You know, no,
total sham. I don't know how he snuck on.
Yeah, you know, we've got Neil Patel, Amy Landino, dozens, just the top, Rand Fishkin, Shama Hyder, and then we're closing out with Seth Godin. And so what we wanted to do was bring just the very best of the best thought leaders to the forefront and have conversations a bit like what we're having here, except the script is flipped, right? We're interviewing you guys and asking you, you know, about all kinds of topics, you know, how to build a profitable agency, how to build an agency you're happy with and pick the customers that you want, how to build a business that you can find a successful exit with, if that's your plan. We talk about, you know, we got Carl Sakis talking about, you know, operations and things, landing customers in a tough environment. So the conversations have been fantastic. They're going all the way through December. You know, so it's been this whole quarter. We'll probably do a rewind next year, by the way. It's just been so successful. And, you know, I want to encourage everybody to sign up for that. I think you can sign up for that at SharpSpring /Swank if you're listening to this. So please, please use that link with Jason and sign up. You can watch all the recordings of the previous editions, and there's so much gold in there. You know, what I found neat is how all of these different thought leaders, everybody's got sort of a slightly different perspective, but the themes are incredibly similar, and yet the different perspectives and lenses help like fill out the idea. So if you sort of listen to all of them, you can really get some coalescing of I think big ideas that can help your agency. And yeah, it's been a fun series to pull off. I've done a few of these. Chip House, our CMO, does a bunch of them as well, and it's been a lot of fun. So agencies, if you're interested in growing your business, you know, one more pitch on that, sharpspring.com /Swank.
Awesome. Well, this has been awesome, Rick, to have you on. Is there anything I didn't ask?
Oh, I think our go to meeting I'll let you edit that out later.
Okay.
You want to ask that question again?
Yeah. So this has all been amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the audience?
You know, no, yeah, I think the one thing that, you know, I would say is keep in mind revenue growth. You know, this is how we're positioning our company, whether it's for your agency. So it's notorious. You mentioned 3 things earlier, finding strategic partnerships, inbound and outbound marketing. This is to build your agency, I believe, is how you position. It's exactly right. First things first, I'm not one of these folks that only pitches inbound. You need a well-rounded marketing platform for your and strategy for your customers, but also for your agency. So many agencies just neglect, just live off of word of mouth, and therefore, you know, you may take customers that you don't necessarily want to take, and that sort of thing. Practice what you preach. That would be my thing, and I know that's near and dear to your heart. Yep. and advice that you give as well. So I think that'd be my parting words for agencies.
Great. And what's the website people can go and request a demo?
Yeah, thanks. Look, if you'd love a demo of SharpSpring, we'd love to talk to you. It's a no pressure thing. You can get in, understand what we do. That's at sharpspring.com /smart agency. Sharpspring.com /smart agency. Get a demo. We'll show you the platform. It's a lot of fun. We do a magic trick on the demo. It's like nothing you've ever seen before, frankly, that sort of brings to life the personalization. So there's a little teaser for those of you who are curious.
Cool. Well, awesome. Everybody request access to the acceleration series. Make sure you request a demo. And so much for coming on. And until next time, have a swank day.
I know we're going to be talking to you soon. Thanks for having me.